Hey guys, this is a video for those that want to solo or solo flawless the Vox Obscura mission on Master difficulty during Season of the Haunted. As most already know, there isn't a cool emblem or anything exciting for soloing this mission, apart from a flawless triumph, but this can be obtained in a fire team. I just thought it was a nice challenge, and if any solo players still need the Dead Messenger Catalyst or the Triumph, here are some strategies that worked well for me. As usual, we'll first be going into the build which I believe is best suited for this job. First, let's start with the subclass, Night Stalker Hunter, and the exotic of choice is the Omnioculus chest piece. This will allow us to have 2 melee charges and increased resistance on going invisible. This particular build has been very popular since Void 3.0 came out last season, so I'm sure most of you watching are already familiar with it. We run Mobius Quiver Super, Gambler's Dodge to regain a melee charge when dodging next to enemies, Triple Jump, Snare Bomb, and I like the Vortex grenades, but you can use any grenade you prefer. For aspects, we go with Vanishing Step, so we can go invisible whenever we dodge, and Trapper's Ambush, which will give us the Quick Fall ability, and also make us invisible while weakening nearby enemies. The fragments I recommend are Echo of Persistence, so our invisibility lasts a few seconds longer, Echo of Obscurity, so we can go invisible on finishing an enemy, and Undermining, which weakens enemies that have taken damage from our grenade. For weapons this season, we have Anti-Barrier Pulse Rifle and Unstoppable Glaive, so I decided to bring Outbreak Perfected and Lubre's Ruin. You can run any pulse that you prefer in this slot. The Lubre's Ruin glaive comes from the Vow of the Disciple raid, but if you don't have this weapon, you could replace it with the Enigma. However, there are a couple of Centurions with solar shields that might be a bit annoying to deal with. Storm Chaser is currently the best linear fusion in the game, so we are going to use this. It is easy to farm for the Storm Chaser in the Duality dungeon and drops from the second encounter. Let's move on to armor mods. So this is a pretty standard Omnioculus build. We aren't doing anything too fancy with wells, but we will try and create some orbs to give us more damage via high energy fire. On the helmet, we run a linear fusion finder and a kinetic siphon mod. This will let us create an orb of light by getting multi-kills with our pulse rifle. On the arms, we have 2 champion mods and a taking charge mod, so we can get charged with light after picking up an orb. On the chest piece, we run the seasonal resist mod, a sniper resist mod, and a high energy fire mod. On our legs, we go with a Better Already mod, and that allows us to restore health after picking up an orb, a Scavenger mod, and a Reaping Wellmaker mod. I wasn't having much luck with linear Scavenger mod at the time of trying this build, and I think it might have been bugged, as I would rarely get more than 1 ammo from a brick, and this is why I chose to replace it with the Glaive Scavenger. If it turns out to be bugged and does get fixed, I would instead use Linear Fusion Rifle Scavenger, as the boss fight in particular can be quite annoying without enough heavy ammo. The Reaping Wellmaker mod makes a well every time we get a kill after dodging, and since we dodge a lot in this mission, it fits perfectly for the build. Last but not least, we have the class item. On this cloak, I run a utility kickstart, which gives us some class ability energy whenever using the class ability. The seasonal artifact mod, Revitalizing Blast, which ignites champions on stun, and an elemental charge mod. This converts the well we make from Reaping Wellmaker into a charge with light. As for stats, we want to prioritize resilience, mobility, and strength. Try and get at least high resilience and mobility. So that's the build and weapons, so let's get back to the mission and I'll explain how to get through this efficiently. When you start this mission, it's a good idea to head left and kill the unstoppable champion first. If you leave it till after, he can make it difficult to destroy the tank in this area quickly. Head back up to the door and kill the anti-barrier champion guarding it. Go through and kill all the scions and turrets and the champion. Try and leave an interceptor with full health and use it to blow up the door.
father was never known for his strength of commitment. In this operation has his full devotion.
Whatever happened aboard the Glycon must have changed him. And not for the better. Orbital bombardment incoming, Guardian. The clock is running.
Now a bunch of Cabal are going to land, and it is best to stay back and shoot them or weaken them with the interceptor. We are going to use the interceptor to destroy the tank up ahead, so it's quite important it doesn't take too much damage from these Cabal foot soldiers. After you've cleaned up these Cabal, move forward on foot and use your heavy to destroy the enemy interceptor. Get back in your interceptor and go down to the left side to line up the tank. Ramming the tank can do massive damage, but it can be a little inconsistent. Sometimes it straight up one-shots it, and other times it will require 2 or 3 hits. As soon as this tank goes down, hop on your Sparrow and proceed to the next section.
Good job clearing the air, Guardian. Got a present for you. She weighs more than my bird. Roll right over them and don't...
We'll use the same strategy as before for dealing with the tanks. Ram them hard. Here it took me a few hits to get the first tank down, but the second seemed a bit squishier. It's just a bit of practice timing when to accelerate and also avoiding the oncoming fire. If you hit the tank and it doesn't explode or your interceptor has taken a bit of damage, just exit the vehicle and use quickfall to go invisible and summon a new interceptor. Your goal in this room is to just destroy the tanks, so don't worry about any champions in this area. Once both tanks are down, we'll be swapping the interceptor for a Drake that we can summon now. Use the Drake tank to shoot the shield generators, and once the shield goes down, 2-shot the weak spot in the tower. Repeat this for the next 2 towers, and then use the Drake to punch a hole in the wall on the other side. It's important to destroy the Threshers in this area, as they can do a fair bit of damage to the Drake tank. As before, if the tank gets weak, just jump out and quick fall or dodge to go invis and get another tank. Proceed through the wall and be sure to put down a flag. A bit embarrassing here, I ran out of flags, so bear with me while I grab some from the season pass. In this room, the next door opens once the 2 unstoppable champions die, so that's what we'll be focusing on here. Weaken them with a grenade, stun, and finish them with heavy. Once both are dead, proceed through the door and use a quick fall to go invisible. Here you can go left or right, but I always went right. You want to pass these enemies and drop down the hole. Immediately after dropping, open the door and go into the room. Dodge to go invisible. Our only targets in this room are the Bubble Scion and the Code Warden Scion. I wouldn't even bother killing any more champions, as this is just a waste of time and we need that time for the boss room. Always try and go invisible after killing the Code Warden to deposit the code safely. When you leave this first room, it is a good time to use the super, since there's a bunch of ads in the middle. We'll again be making use of quick fall and dodge to run to the middle room. The middle room has some phalanxes, which are pretty easy to deal with using the glaive. Again, you want to prioritize them, the Bubble Scion and the Code Warden. The last code room has some solar shielded enemies, and this is why I prefer Lubrays over the Enigma. If you are using Enigma, you could just ignore these Centurions and try to kill the Code Warden from the ledge on the left where the Bubble Scion is. When all 3 codes are done, the middle room opens up, and here we'll really abuse invis to quick fall and dodge our way through to the boss room without killing any more enemies. Try to get an invis off near the barrier champion at the entrance, and then again in the left corner as the door opens. If you have between 5 and 6 minutes on the clock by this point, you're doing great. Here are my final tips for the boss room before I let the video play out. Don't bother killing champions in this room. The slow missiles can be annoying, but it's really not worth wasting time and ammo on these enemies. Whenever you get to a health check marker on the boss, you want to prioritize making yourself invisible, jumping to the center platform to remove all the turrets. The boss's most annoying move is by far the fireball attack. If you're in the middle of damaging him, and he does this move, play it safe and do a quick fall or dodge to immediately go invisible and get out of harm's way. You can tank a lot of the fireballs with resist, but they can still kill you if enough hit. It's not worth risking the flawless run by squeezing out a bit more DPS. Just try and make space and put in some shots with your linear. And if you have a super, feel free to use it on the boss as well. If you are unlucky with heavy ammo drops, the glaive melee swings can do a bit of damage, so if the boss is close to dead, go in and glaive it. Just go invis if things get too hectic or he launches the fireball or storm attack. I hope someone finds this useful. Thank you for watching.
flashing almost too quickly to perceive. They are indistinct, as if multiple pictures were laid atop one another.